Well, the 2025 early National Signing Day has come and gone, and it was a pretty good one overall for Nebraska. Not a lot of things changed, not a lot of drama, which is something that we really like to see. Cortez Mills ultimately flipped, and Jeremiah Jones did not flip. So Michael Terry ends up going to Texas, which was a very tight, battle up until the very end. Ultimately, Texas has a lot of resources. And like I mentioned on my live stream, proximity to home was very, very important to Michael Terry. So Texas lands him, but they got a really good athlete in that. So first things first here, though. If you like what I'm doing, please consider dropping a like, subscribing to the channel to keep updated for more. I got a lot of stuff coming up for y'all. I will have a giveaway coming soon. As soon as I get the product here, we're going to have a giveaway. So y'all stay locked in the channel for that to have a chance to win. It's going to be something that you really want to win. It's going to be something that also helps the university in the NIL fund as well. So instructions will be coming there and to my Twitter at _HTownHusker if you want to follow me over there. So stay tuned for that. Also, for my channel members, Black Shirt Brigade and the 5-Star Corn Connoisseurs, those two tiers are going to both be getting some extra film reviews. I'm going to be doing some on the main channel, but those are going to be getting some extra content and extra film reviews. So if you do want to become a member of the channel, the Big Red Loyalist is $2.99. That's the entry level. If you want, a couple perks, emojis in the chat, in the comments, whatever, you can sign up there. Just hit the join button and then pick a tier. But I appreciate all my members who have joined thus far. And, like I said, even so much as if you are like really, really helps me out. So let's get right into it. Bear with me today. I'm a little sick. I'm a little under the weather, so my voice is not cooperating the best. So my birthday was yesterday, so that's why I'm a little late getting this video up. But we're going to dive into it anyway. So I'm going to bring up the recruiting class here. And, I've touched on a couple of these guys before, earlier in the process, when some of these guys committed. But just to run over it real quick, of course, we got Dawson Merritt, Nebraska battle with Alabama for him. One of the key things about Dawson Merritt is Nebraska got into that process kind of late, and ultimately was able to make enough, ground up on Alabama to ultimately land and sign Dawson Merritt. So a huge get there. And Dawson, Cortez Mills, wide receiver out of Homestead, Florida. We know the kind of playmaker he is. He is a highlight reel waiting to happen. So just a great get in Cortez Mills, and that's to me what really brought this class home. You got Malcolm Simpson, Christian Jones, another big one. He reaffirmed his commitment after losing defensive coordinator Tony White and Terrence Knighton, D-line as well. So Christian Jones locked and loaded from the Omaha area. It's a big get there. Isaiah Mosey, of course, his dad Jamar Mosey's on the staff. There was a very emotional video where Isaiah was talking about his commitment to Nebraska. So really excited for what we can get from Isaiah. And then Jamar, of course, his dad is working with skill position players as well. We'll wait to see if he has any kind of expanded role in that regard. Sean Hemmerbeck, offensive tackle, very much needed. Big size, 6'6", 260. TJ Lateef, excellent quarterback. I've watched his film a ton. I did a film review way back in the day, but I am going to be doing another one. I'm going to be doing one on every single member of this class and then the portal class as well. So y'all stay tuned for that. He's going to be awesome. Just great touch, a pretty live arm. And like I said, I'll break him down in further detail, but TJ Lateef is going to be a really bright spot in the future of this team. Jeremiah Jones, insanely athletic, safety, 6'4", just that size that you really want, has the long, rangy arms, just a really good build for that position. And the length is something we need. Juju Marks, another 6'6" guy, 290. Offensive tackle. We're kind of reinforcing that offensive line a little bit, and we're going to be losing some people. Very young at the offensive line. May need to hit a couple of portal guys to bring in to kind of reinforce that line a little bit. Pierce Mooberry. I'm very excited about Pierce Mooberry. Film is great on him. Another Omaha, Nebraska kid. One of the biggest things I touched on before was just how little Scott Frost, focused on the Nebraska area. Matt Rule has completely changed that around. 8 kids from Nebraska in the previous class, 6 so far in this class. So really getting a foothold on the 500-mile radius as well in this class. The Kansas City area, just kind of getting a foothold back in that as well, and just keeping a little bit in Texas as well. So and the wide receiver coach that we just brought on, He has very good recruiting ties to Texas, which will help with losing Garrett McGuire. Garrett McGuire, of course, going to Texas Tech, just announced a couple hours ago, going to Texas Tech to play under his dad, who is the head coach at Texas Tech, Joey McGuire. So wish him the best as well. Kate Pietrzak, defensive lineman, can never have enough defensive linemen, but 6'4", 250, just a lot of good size to him. Very, very good as an athlete. So excited for him. Bryson Weber, cornerback, again, 6'2", 175, another kind of longer, rangier guy, which we need, especially at that cornerback spot. Bly Hill's another one of those guys. So we'll see more of Bly Hill next year as well. Trying to get those guys with a little bit more length on them. Tyson Terry, D lineman, another Nebraska kid. You love to see that. Just huge, big size, very strong kid. Houston Kahana Torres, interior offensive lineman, but he can rotate. He can move around a little bit. 6'3", 265, moves pretty well for his size. So really like the fact that we've invested in the offensive line a lot and really hammering that home. Jackson Carpenter, an athlete from Nebraska, 6'2", 185. Tanner Turk, a very under the radar kid from Littleton, Colorado. I think he can be very, very good. A lot of diamonds in the rough here. And one of my favorite commits of this class, Jamarian Parker. Jamarian Parker, his film jumps off the table at you. He is going to be a great, great fit in Dana Holgerson's offense out of that Missouri area. So, really, really getting some of these playmakers as well. Jamarian Parker is going to be an impact player on this team in the future. Brian Tapu, huge, huge kid, but very, very raw. Played 1 year of high school football. So, the sky's the limit. Came over from New Zealand. Sky's the limit with this kid just because he's so raw, but also came in as a 3-star. One of the top 100 players in his position. You see their top 80, top 11 in the state. So that's just with a little bit of high school ball under his belt. Can't wait to see his development under Raiola. We have Caden Vermas, again from Nebraska, another safety. And then Connor Booth, another running back, 6'1", 212 from Nebraska as well. So overall there with the class, pretty good, pretty solid overall. And I'm going to compare it here to the previous 4 classes back to 2021, just to see how it stacks up for y'all and show you just a little bit of a comparison here. So let me go ahead and remove this here and bring this up on the screen. So the 2025 class, as we just saw, 20 commits, ranked 21st. The average of the commitments, 89.5. That puts the average rank at 20th. So a very solid class all around for Matt Rule. Let's bring it back to last year, 2024. 32 commits in that class. Rank overall was 18, but a slightly less average at 88.23. This year's rank was 20th. That rank was 26th for the average. So, and just to point out some of the guys, I'm going to point out a few players, that kind of came out of these classes that stood out. Of course, 2024, we got Raiola, Carter Nelson, Ja'Cory Barney, Willis McGahee, Keona Davis, Mario Buford, Vincent Shaver. So overall, really good class there with some of these guys already making an impact. Let's move it on back to the 2023 class. Okay, 2023 class here, 28 commitments, ranked 25th. The average 87.26. So again, another drop from the 2023 average rank there, 37th. So you already see an improvement there in the class. Some of the standouts of that class are some of the guys that we know very well from that class. Malachi Coleman, who recently transferred, didn't get an opportunity really to play much. Prince Will Mamielen, Riley Van Poppel, Jeremiah Charles, the very, very athletic Jeremiah Charles, Gunnar Gatula, and excited to see what Jeremiah Charles can do in this upcoming season. Gunnar Gatula, Jalen Lloyd, and Kai Wallen, like just a good productive class overall, but just one of those classes that we're going to start to see breaking out here pretty soon. Moving back to the 2022 class, 19 commitments, 41st ranked class, average 87.03, which so far is the lowest of all of them, with the average rank being at 37. So you can see the trend upward here with these classes up and Matt Rule's tenure. And some of the guys that you could point out from that class, Janiron Bonner, Anthony Grant, who just got signed. Shout out to Anthony Grant. I reached out to him. He said, he's excited for the opportunity and wants to climb his way up the ladder. Had him on the show. Really great guest, awesome guy all around. So shout out to Anthony Grant. Congratulations to him. So Emmett Johnson, He's a dude. You know, we all know who Emmett Johnson is. Malcolm Hartzog, Deshaun Singleton, and Justin Evans Jenkins. So there's that 2022 class. Now moving to the 2021 class, we had 20 commits, ranked 20th, average 87.96. So not quite up there with Matt Rule's class, but a little bit better than the other ones. Average rank on that one was 24th. Some of the players that we got in this 2021 class: Thomas Fedoni, Henry Lutovsky, Prohaska, Gaber, Buford, Mario Buford, and Gabe Irvin. So you could see some of these names that stand out, but it really lends to the fact that you see a lot of impact players already in Matt Rule's class, and about the same amount of number that have kind of been an impact already that we've had in those previous classes as well. So the success rate is very, very important. Recruiting numbers mean one thing. Being able to assess those classes and see how well those players have played and how many of them made an impact is another thing. That is one of the things about Scott Frost that didn't go well. I did a full video this past offseason just on the difference of recruiting and the percentage of guys for us that actually made it to campus and actually stuck around until they could play, and it was very, very low. So we're starting to see that trend a little bit. And just kind of with the 105 scholarship limits, Matt Rule gave us a little indication on how that is going to work. Okay. So what he said is basically, he says, and I'll read the quote for you. He said, these guys are playing, the other guys, they're coming, they're getting an education. They're a development, if they're a developmental player, but the high school players that we signed, we were very blessed when we got here that there were a lot of older guys on defense. The young guys that we sign on defense, either that we signed last year or signed this year, we're going to hope they play. If not, they're over in that developmental group and ideally turn to a John Bullock role after a couple of years. So here's his plan. He said, we'll try a two-pronged approach to this. Developmental guys and guys that are ready to play right now, whichever way we have to go with each kid, we'll go. We'll be honest with them. And if they want to go through the process of turning themselves over to a great player over time, then do it. If it's either hit or miss, they have to do that as well. So essentially, the thing here is, you need to show that you're developing, and you need to be a part of this process and be bought in fully. Just because there's no, there's not a lot of, there's extra spots, but just it's not much room to play with as we had before. So essentially what he's going to do is kind of an NFL style thing where he has a 53-man roster of guys who are locked in, ready to go play. And then the other 53 are going to kind of be those guys that he can work on and develop a little bit more. I posted on X today, one of the guys that is very intriguing to me from last year's class that I'm hoping will be retained on the 105-man roster, David Hufkin. David Hufkin is he was 23 years old. He's from Germany, and he played ball a few years over in Germany, came to a camp that Nebraska was out in Texas last year, and Nebraska offered him on the spot, really showed himself. He played at offensive tackle, kind of in some of the drills, and that was kind of what he was out there to do. Nebraska did some drills with him at D-line at the end, saw him project better there. And he's got the size, he's 6'7", about 250 pounds. His wingspan is 6'11". He is just a large human. And at 23 years old and a freshman, a lot of room to grow. And, even with his athletic, he's just a raw athlete. And even with his athleticism, if he could develop a little bit in that pass rush, in that regard, he can do really good things in wreaking havoc with just his size, his length, and all that alone. So David Hofkin's a name that I really want to look out for, and hopefully we retain him on the roster so we can see what kind of development we get from him. But overall, like I said, this class is very, very good. I think it checks a lot of boxes in terms of what Nebraska needs, and I just think it's one of the better classes in terms of how these players fit with actually what we need in terms of not only just talent and position, but length, size, those type of deals. And some of these guys, you still see him in Matt Rule's class. He's diamond in the rough type of guys, but Brian Tapu is one of those guys where he's a diamond in the rough, but he's a 87 rated 3-star. So very, very raw, but still a pretty good rated recruit that we can turn into a pretty good offensive lineman overall. So yeah, a lot to be excited about in this class. And, the Cortez Mills announcement, probably one of the best ones, kind of indicated he was going to Oklahoma at first, let it go out a few seconds, let off a boomer sooner, and then ultimately switched over to Nebraska. A lot of drama in that one, but ultimately coming to Nebraska. And as we see, we've seen before these drama-filled signing days. If I'm reminded of Javonte Jean-Baptiste, where Nebraska was basically set to sign him, the snow day happened, and he ended up, Ohio State reached out. He ended up flipping to them. Ultimately, had a pretty good career overall. So, drama-free, just the way you like it. Some guys entered the portal. We went over those on the live stream as well. So, like I said, really excited about this. Also, really excited to see what Holgorsen can do with a lot of these offensive players, and what a new wide receivers coach can do as well with a lot of these athletes, and a Cortez Mills under his wing for a few years is something we could be very, very excited about. So, a lot of things to look forward to in this class. And like I said, I will be going over everything with a film review of each and every member of this class. That's going to be for my tier 2 and 3 members. So if y'all do want to help out the channel, it really, really helps me out. I do this full time. So, and my film reviews have, I've done a few for other teams. They've been shared by the defensive coordinators. They've been shared by the players' parents. So, I pride myself on my film reviews is one of the things I love to do most. And I'm also going to be the recruiting guy or the film guy for the new Voice of College Football recruiting channel we'll have coming up in the future. So stay locked into all that. Like I said, if you want to be entered in the giveaway, it's going to be _H-Town Husker, and it's going to be something you're really going to like. I want one of these for myself, to be honest, but I don't want to give away too much on what it is, but it's something you're really going to like. So give me a follow over there, and stay locked and loaded for the next episode. I'm going to bring you some film reviews in the coming days and some updates on where we stand in terms of the overall defensive coordinator, defensive line hiring. Just a lot of speculation going around, a lot of names being thrown out, but I wanted to focus on some more concrete stuff today, go over this class a little bit, and just give you a little bit more in detail, just the comparison over the years. So like I said, if you want to stay tuned for more, hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the video, drop a comment, let me know what you think about this recruiting class. Who's your favorite player? Who do you think's a diamond in the rough? And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.